now, you are watching Amka Kenya right here on K24 TV. And before we, of course, continue this conversation, allow me to remind you of our question this particular morning, and that is in regards to the privatization of the Kenya Pipeline Corporation. We had asked you, what is your take rather on the government's plan to privatize the Kenya Pipeline Company? Before I go back to Mr. Patrick Osei, also tells us, will tell us rather about his views on the same. Let's just sample a few of your feedback. And Peter from Nairobi says, if it increases efficiency and reduces corruption, then privatization could be a good move, but transparency will be key. That is Peter from Nairobi. I don't know if we can have the next one. There we go. We have Mercy from Eldoret City, I should say. I'm worried it might put national resources into private hands that care more about profit than public service. That is Mercy from Eldoret City. We also do have Samuel from Kisumu who says privatization could attract better management and investment, but only if there are strong regulations in place. I don't know if you can have one more before we embark on a conversation. And there we go. Interestingly, we've covered all the cities from Nairobi to Eldoret to Kisumu and now Nakuru. Lydia says this is risky. We've seen how some privatizations in Kenya end up benefiting a few individuals instead of the public. Let's come back to our set now. Mr. Osoi, in regards to this particular privatization bid or plan by the government, and that is in regards to the Kenya Pipeline Corporation, do you support it? Because they say, one, according to CS John Barry, it will save the government around 100 billion Kenya shillings. And again, it will not put pressure on the country's budget, and it will increase efficiency. What do you have to say in regards to that?
I want to just laugh at that because Kenya Pipeline is one of the biggest corporations we have in this country. And I want to actually say that I do not even come from that line of thought or school, but I would think that the government is getting it wrong. And one thing I want to say that in Kenya, we've never had any corporation or government saving money other than if it's going to somebody's pocket. It is not possible. Again, I want to give a context of marrying a new wife and having a wife that you think, I need a neighbor to come and help me. Mm-hmm. The reasons I'm saying that PPP or privatization, public privatization partnership, should happen on new projects, not an existing project. And again, I want to say the government we are going to form by 2027, we are going to make sure that the privatization of things that are supposed to be owned by the government is not given to the private. Because that means that the government system is unable to manage. And the problem that we are seeing for this PPP project is because Kenya is suffering from a crisis of governance. We do not have a governance in this country, and therefore, so the government has to rush to the next alternative, and the next alternative is to get some funds from investors and have them run the organization or the thing that they have been given. So my take to privatization of Pipeline Kenya is a wrong move by this government. I was in the limelight last year when this government came in place, and I talked about the housing project. The government would have used the privatization of the housing project in this context. If, for example, the Kenyan government owned, for example, $1 trillion worth of land, and probably get an investor who want to invest in housing, and tell them, before we start this project, can we have a 50-50 deal? Whereby you can give us 50% worth value of the land, and then once you do the building, you can sell it to the public, and then what you make from it, you can share it to this percentage. So what I'm saying is that what we are seeing today, Kenya, and I will say this, and the reasons why we are here and out here, and say that we are not going back. We are not even going to be on the table. We do not care about the table. We want to get into the kitchen where these things are cooked to make sure that we bring freshness in this country. And before I cut you short, I want to mention a few of the things why any person would want privatization. One would be access to expertise and innovation. So that tells us we as Kenyans or people, the government system does not have people who are experts in the areas that we are talking about. Number two, faster project delivery. So faster project delivery, it means It is not a project that is a new project. It's an old project, an existing project. It need to have a timeline of a project that is new project to be able to be in the public to create employment. So when we do the PPP for any existing project in Kenya, it means the government is unable to govern those projects.
Now, just the public-private partnership aside, this privatization of KPC, according to CS Mbadi, would save around 100 billion. And in fact, he says if we don't end up, privatizing Kenya Pipeline Company, for example, the budget will have a whole of around 100 billion Kenya shillings, and they will only have three options. One would be to tax Kenyans more, which he says is impossible. Two, to borrow more, which is not desirable in his eyes. And three, to cut on expenditure, most specifically on development.
Kituni, let me tell you, in this country where we have no accountability and transparency, because if we have accountability and transparency of what the government is engaged in, what the government is getting, what the government will save, they will only talk about that because they want to justify in the eyes of Kenyans that this thing is a good thing. Privatization of anything, even hospitals and schools, is actually making the government system to be unproductive. There are things that are supposed to be private, not hospitals, not schools and other things that are supposed to be the primary provision by the government system. So when we privatize something that the government is supposed to run, then it means that the government is incapable. And I will tell you for a fact, there are things that have not been put in public. For example, we have natural resources in this country worth 27 trillion US dollars. It never was taken to the government to be made public to the people. So what we see in this country, there is no accountability, there is no transparency. When they speak of anything or they want to be accountable over something, it's because they want to benefit from it. And I would want to see a government where they come up with that project, and then they say that we are privatizing this project, and this project for this fiscal year, this is what we have been able to make, this is what we have been able to borrow, this is what, and this is where we are. But now we operate this country in a dark, whereby Kenyans do not understand and get to know how the government is operating, unless when they want to justify any project. So for me, it's a big no, because the government system and the government is capable and as experts to make sure that they make the government sectors to be productive. You have heard people say, nimepata kazi ya gava. Maybe like you today here working in K24. How you work in a government sector is different from when you work from a private sector. So that means the government system has a problem.
Okay.
Fair
enough. Let's talk about your presidential ambitions. And you said, fighting brutality and impunity also entails economic brutality.
Right.
Now, empowerments. This is one thing that you've talked about. And on your X handle, on the 10th of August 2025, you said, William Ruto in 2022, before elections, of course, promised 4 million jobs for the youth. Now, instead, he has opted to export our most qualified personnel to the Middle East to work casual jobs where they are mistreated, some killed, and the government cannot utter even a word. Now, you are opposed to the idea of these empowerment programs by the government.
Right.
Whether they're genuine or not, whether, one of the main concerns has been, the source of these particular funds. If you were to ascend to the presidency today, to the House on the Hill,
right,
what would you do in terms of ensuring that the youth, the women, here in the country are empowered? Because at the end of the day, the question again raised, or that comes when you talk about these empowerment programs being spearheaded by Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President, is the sustainability and its impact. How then will you go about it in ensuring that it's sustainable and it's really impactful?
Right. So I want to say one thing that I've been very loud about, that fighting brutality and impunity, or Patrick Osoi, I say and I call myself not an opposer. Kenyans people are supposed to be the oversight authority to the government system, not opposing. Opposing means that you can be potentially there just to oppose anything to be seen relevant. But when you become an oversight, it means that you will either guide on the right track or otherwise, so that the government system or the government is able to do what they are supposed to do. For example, in what we are talking today about the empowerment, and I want to be very loud about this because these are gimmicks that the politicians have used before, not excluding something we have called people doing some, donations. We call them, what do you call them? These donating to the people and doing some charity works are gimmicks that the politicians of this country use to lure the minds of Kenyans. And I want to tell Kenyans that we need to be very vigilant because between now to election time, this government, and especially Dr. William Ruto, is going to do things that you've never seen and tend to think, I think this guy has become an angel all of a sudden. So what we are talking about is that we need to be very cautious because, one, the Kenyan people and the young people and the employment in this country cannot be resolved by an empowerment and an empowerment of monies that cannot be channeled to the right manufacturing industries to employ the Kenyan people. Because when you are empowering me, the big question is, why can't we have that money be channeled in industries that can create a sustainability employment for Kenyan? So,
but they say this is not government money. They say this is money from their own pocket.
Let me tell you, one of our agendas as a government, when we take power, one of the brutality we are going to do is to make sure that we do audit of the people that have worked for the government system. Why do I have to say this? Because these people, and I want to tell you, Kutuni, no man can be working for their own monies to just go and feed the people. The people. No one can spend 2 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, for example, today, actually to become the president of this country. How prestigious is it to become the president? So the meaning is these people invest money and put money to come and continue looting and stealing from the Kenyan people.
So this money being dished around left, right, and center, from where you said is money stolen from public office? These are money
stolen from public office. Now we can talk of not Kotulu, but the oil wells that we have in this country. We saw the other day how much it was sold. Barely 1%, because 40 billion Kenyan shillings to sell a well of oil is just a peanut. So these people, they have stolen enough. And I want to say this. They have stolen enough. 2 billion every week. That is what the intelligence they are indicating, that money are lost every week, 2 billion, to be not just to be circulated in a Kenyan economy, but to be shipped out or to be taken to overseas. So what we are seeing is people who have stolen more than they need to be able to come to lure Kenyans, not to continue to steal more and to protect themselves. And let me tell you, the time has come that never again that Kenyans will be lured by small monies that they are given by politicians so in order to vote them in. Can I surprise you? If a member of parliament or somebody, a president, gives you 10,000 to vote for them, if you divide that by 5 years, we are talking about 2,000 Kenya shillings. If we divide that per day, it's 50 shillings. Kutunyi, what 50 shilling can do for you? Make it worse. If you do it 1,000, actually it will be 50 cents every day for person to get into office, to continue looting and making sure that they capsize this country. They make sure that this country is crippled. And these are the things, the brutality that we are talking about. Now, and we are not relenting. And this brutality thing, the FBI, every Kenyan of goodwill, every Kenyan that will think that we are not in good position as a country is a member. So it means that every person who is here to fight brutality, to fight nepotism, to fight bad governance, to fight inefficiency of the government, to fight unconsensusness, whereby the Kenyan people are not even involved in decision making of this country. So what I'm saying is that we really need to take a different route. And the route is that the monies they have stolen, the billions they have stolen, the trillions they have stolen, that they have stacked overseas are the monies that are now they want to come and lure Kenyans and tell them, you know what, we are here to empower you. You see, we have already completed the project. And I've always put it clear that somebody cannot rape you and let alone come to buy Pampers for your kid. That is really very bad. So what I'm saying is that what they have stolen, let them bring back. And when they bring back to you, take these monies because it belongs to you. Because they stole it from you. And from there, do not vote any politician. And our slogan as FBI, we're saying that we want to drain the swamp. make sure that we are able to seal it and put freshness in it.
Pretty much.
Right.
There are various issues arising from your submissions. Allow me to ask.
Right.
You've talked about FBI and what your slogan is.
Right.
One would wonder, because you're talking about money as well, one would wonder to be able to tackle everything that you're talking about. Who funds the operations of FBI?
Let me say that no one funds the FBI movement. It's only the small monies we have for logistics, because we don't fish out money. We are here to educate Kenyans and tell them you don't need someone to come and pity you and give you monies and give you empowerment.
Okay.
What you need is a working system. What you need is enforced governance, whereby you can get comfort of your medical services at home. Schools are operating well. Roads are operating well. The economy is thriving. So nothing and nobody and no Kenyans, I want to say clearly, that is who is interested to be empowered as a pity, empathetic way to be able to lure Kenyans. What we need is proper governance of our resources, proper governance of this economy, so that we are able to have a sustainment of our Kenyan people or the young people who are unemployed in this country. And yes.
Pretty much.
Right.
Now, let me go back again briefly to the issue of terrorism. Recently, I think a day ago, you made some grievous allegations in regards to the issue of the 5 chiefs from Mandera who went missing last year, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And you alleged that the government might have or could have negotiated with terrorists.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Let me tell you, Kutuni, and I want to make it very clear. The reasons why Patrick Osoi thought to run for office when I was 24 years is when I was working for the special forces of this country.
Okay.
I realized much of the peoples in the government system is to use the system to enrich themselves and to do dirty deals. You've seen the intelligence that has been given by Gachagua. You've seen the intelligence that is hovering around. And I want to tell you the fact. Those are the true standing of what this country is. People and terrorists in this country are known. The attacks that we have in this country in various sectors, including to sit what do we call it, the mall here, the Garissa University, are people known. And it is really known by the people who orchestrated it.
Who are these people? When you say they're known, who are these people?
Let me tell you, at this position, we are not in a capacity to do anything because they are the same crooks that are in power. So what we want to say is that the Kenyans people need to trust us. Let us have the power. And let me tell you, we are going to put anything, injustices, anything that has been orchestrated against the Kenyan people on the records and books.
This information that you're talking about, where do you get this information from? And what stops you and probably everybody who is making these very serious allegations from going forward or going ahead to give this information to the relevant authorities? Because when someone says the government is cooperating or working or perpetrating terrorism, then it is a very concerning allegation that needs to be also substantiated.
Kutuni, let me tell you, I'm not just to brag. I'm not just a mere Kenyan. I've worked for the Director of Military Intelligence. I've worked as a Special Force soldier in this country. And the Special Force soldier means people who have, or they are in the forefront for very, very high-valued missions in this country. I have worked also in the National Intelligence Service of this country. So whatever we talk and what we are saying about and the missions we have, we are talking from the point of information. And let me tell you, there's nothing we can do at this point with that information. Even if you make complaint of anything against any person in power today, because of the impunity we have, there's nothing we can do. Can I prove you wrong? Okay. We have had people doing and having threatening statement, call of the Tiati Member of Parliament, call of Koech, call of even CS Mokromen, call of even the President, stating that shoot, not to kill, shoot to kill, shoot the wreck, which is not even provided in our laws. It is not even provided in our international laws, or probably considered by the humanitarian right in globally. So even if you make those complaints, the other day Mokromen stated about us that these FBI members we are going to deal with them or to deal with you. And my question is, Mokromen cannot deal with me. At a personal level, there is nothing he can do to me. So as a person, he need to stop personalizing things. And if Patrick Osoi has violated any Kenyan law, what he's supposed to do is the law of this country will deal with Patrick Osoi. The law of this country will deal with Kotuni. So what I'm talking about, what we are seeing are people who are very scared because they are seeing like their secret of curtailing things and making this country be where it is going to be revealed. And the fact is that we are not going back. We are not going to stop. We are not going to be scared or to be intimidated in any way.
From what you're saying, one, Mr. Patrick Osoi, is that you have information about these terrorism activities, and even if you submit that information to the relevant authorities, it will not be helpful.
There's nothing. I have told you.
Fair
from
enough.
Where I sit
Fair
as a security expert and somebody who has worked in intelligence circles.
We do know, and like it was widely reported, that the United States will be, investigating all that. Have you considered, probably because you've also worked in the United States, have you considered submitting the information that you have? Because you talk about saving the country and saving Kenyans from the regime of the day.
Right.
Why wait until 2027 when you'll be, vying for the presidential seat, when you can use the information that you have now to save Kenyans instead of waiting for the next 2 years? Can you present the information that you have to the authorities, even if it's not here in the country, because this is something that is ongoing?
I was about to do a presser some time back and criticize the international community and say that if they cannot come at the rescue of Kenyans, where injustices are the talk of the day, where killings are at the talk of the day, where people are violating international community laws, then it means that we may not need them as a country in future. And therefore, when I've seen the United States coming on board in matters of what is happening in this country, one thing I want to say is that it shouldn't even get there. And we have had many complaints taken to the ICC in order to see the actions that they can take.
Have you lodged a complaint as a person?
We as FBI or Patrick Osoi, we work with department because we believe in meritocratic government system. So we have expert of legal expert, whereby they even filed to have elections next year, 11th of August next year, which to date is a negotiation and trying to see that we cannot have election as according to what is provided by our constitution. So therefore, I'm left wondering, why should our constitution even provide the date, the day, and the number of years that we are supposed to have elections, for example? So what I'm saying is that we have a subversion of constitution. We have a violation of our constitution. We have violation of everything. And I want to tell you, we have forwarded much of the information to see what the international community can do. And if they cannot do for us, let the Kenyan people believe in themselves. Let us take the responsibility of Article 1, consolidate ourselves, our resources, our minds, our expertise, our experience, to make sure that we form the government. And once we form the government, we ourselves, we are going to deal with those masters squarely.
When you say, even as we wind up this conversation, when you say you cannot submit the information that you have to the local authorities and the security apparatus that we have, what does it say about these security apparatus? Do you feel they're compromised? Do you feel they're being used for political expediency to settle political scores?
No. You have heard
give me a parting shot.
Yes. You have heard people talk about state capture. This one, for Dr. William Ruto, this government, regime Kenya Kwanza government, is one of the government that has done the worst to capture the judiciary, to capture the legislature, to capture everyone. Everyone in this country works at the masses of Kenya Kwanza government. So what we are seeing is government systems that are just dormant, who just wait instructions from someone to be able to execute the things they are supposed to execute. So we have a system that is failed, a system that needs to be fixed, a system that we are going to fix.
And you believe you're the man to fix it?
I am the man to fix it. And the fact is that if there be somebody else who will come be old, or who Kenyans will believe in them more than I am, then I'll be there and myself assessing this person and support them. Because the mission here is bigger than Patrick Osoi. The mission is to make sure that we rescue this country from the pangs of corruption, bad governance, inefficient government, and all those kind of unemployment things.
Okay, thank you very much for making time this particular morning.